Okay, Curtis Chappell here from Quantum SEO Solutions with yet another amazing client case study. Now, what I'd like for you to do is, if you're watching this video, please look up into the URL or the browser window. And if you do not see quantumseosolutions.com as the domain site, then this video has been hijacked. That's right, there are a lot of SEO companies that are hijacking my case study videos and putting them onto their page, thinking that you're stupid enough to believe that they're actually doing this work. And I know that if you're watching this, you're not going to fall for that. So once again, go to quantumseosolutions.com. That is the company, and I'm the person getting these results. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at a couple of screenshots which I took prior to working with the client. And the client is a microbiological testing laboratory. And they do lots of things, some of which are food testing, water testing, chemical testing, and microbiological testing. Now, what I did was I took some screenshots, and we'll have a look at those very closely right now. Okay, so the first primary keyword, as you can see, is Food Testing Australia. I'll just point out that currently on that search date, which was January 2nd, there were 22 million results. And you'll notice that my client is not to be found on that page. Okay, the next primary keyword was chemical testing. Now, in both of the previous example and this example, I'm actually adding the geo modifier Australia just to really test and see if the site client site was ranking using that modifier, which certainly should pull in that site because there's only 2 or 3 competitors in that niche here in Australia. But yet again, even using the geo modifier with Australia on chemical testing, my client cannot be found in the top 6 rankings there. And continuing on with the example, you can see the keyword is microbiological testing Australia. Now, interestingly enough, the term microbiological is actually in the company name. So again, you would think that using that modifier and that specific search phrase that the client would be showing. But once again, we're not seeing my client, at least not in the top 4 or 5 list there, and I can assure you that they're nowhere on the first page. And currently, under that search, there's 53,000 results, and that's using the modifier Australia. Okay, and this is just part 2 of that page. So I've scrolled down now and took another screenshot of that page, and again, you can see here that was, that was actually on the 25th of December. So this was basically Christmas Day. That's how I was spending my day. I was looking at my clients' information. So there you go. So once again, not to be found on page 1 for the primary search term. Okay, we're now looking at a very broad search term, food testing. Matter of fact, it is so broad, it has 89 million results that were indexed. So huge amount of information on the web under the term food testing. And once again, my client is not to be found in that list. And again, this screenshot was taken on Christmas Day. Okay, another example here, chemical testing. Again, another primary, very broad keyword search. 55 million results registered there. And unfortunately, as of Christmas Day, my client was not to be found on the page. And this is a screenshot of the second half of the page, just to, again, to confirm that the client's not there on that day. Okay, and last but not least, we have microbiology testing. Again, very broad search result, 2 million pieces of information indexed there. So there's the top half of the page, client not to be found. And there's the second half of the page, just to confirm that, again, dmgmicrolabs.com.au is not in that list. Okay, now what I'd like to point out first is this is on the 10th of January, so I took these screenshots today, okay? So what we're going to do is come back to that shot here, and we're going to scroll up. I'm just going to get this video out of the way quickly. So once again, just to confirm the search word chemical testing, I will add we're on slot number 9, but it is page 1. And again, we went from being nowhere to be found to being slot number 9 on page 1, and that's within 15 days. Now, interestingly enough, if we add the modifier lab, so chemical testing lab, that actually brings us up the page, and using chemical testing lab, we're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th So again, out of 108 million results within 15 days, I now have the client on slot number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on page 1. Pretty fantastic result, I think. Okay, for the very broad search term of food testing, we scroll down and you can see that we have slot number 7, and that's on page number 2. Okay, so I'll just be obvious and be honest about that. We're not on page 1 for this one. We're on page 2 and we're slot number 7. But look what happens when we add the modifier lab. So we now have food testing lab. We have 9 million results. And we have the client on page 1, slot number 3. Again, I think that's a fantastic result. Now, under water testing, again, very broad search term, not as happy here. You'll clearly point out that we're on page number 3, and we're actually on the bottom of page number 3. Again, very broad search term, and we're going to have to do a little bit of work on that. But look what happens when we add the modifier. Okay, so we've added the modifier water testing lab. I'll point out there's almost 10 million results that have been indexed. This is the top half of the page. So we have the the Google Places listings here. We're just going to scroll down a little. Okay, and there we have my client on page 1. I think that's on about slot 6. Clearly on Google page 1, water testing lab. What was it? Almost 10 million results, and we're on page 1, slot 6. Okay, so that's going to bring an end to this client case study. So once again, within 15 days, I got my client ranking on page 1 for 4 of their primary search terms. We have already had several inbound inquiries, and checking on their Google Analytics, their traffic is starting to increase already. Now, these are the kinds of results that Quantum SEO Solutions can get for your business. Make sure you check out quantumseosolutions.com. You can also join my SEO coaching course, and I'll teach you exactly how to do this yourself. You don't need me. You can learn how to do it. And you can learn that at yourseocoach.com. So have a look at what's going on with in some of my other videos, and I look forward to working with you in the future and getting your business found faster.